Welcome to Hanging at the Hangar Bar. I'm Scott.
I'm Candace.
I'm Lariah.
And I'm Lacey. Grab a drink and come hang with us at the Hangar Bar.
Okay, welcome back to Hanging at the Hangar Bar, to the second of our road trip series. This episode's going to be a little bit different as we drive down the road. As of right now, we're about 14 minutes from the major metropolis of Marceline, Missouri.
For those of you that don't know, Marceline, Missouri was actually Walt Disney's hometown. It's where he was born into. The family homestead is still there. There's a museum, and there's lots of the inspiration of Main Street USA is actually based on Marceline, Missouri. And I feel that we're very lucky to be only about 4 hours away.
Yeah, agreed. This will be our first time visiting. So what we're going to do, and why this episode is going to be a little bit different, is as we pull into town, we're on Highway 36 right now. Again, our turn is going to be here in about 10 minutes or so. We're just going to loop you into the conversation that we have, and then as we drive down what is Main Street USA before we get to the museum, we'll talk a little bit about what we're seeing. We'll narrate. We'll talk about kind of how it feels being in Walt's hometown, and then after we get done sort of the museum and seeing the old farm homestead, we'll try and narrate through some of that. So this one might feel a little bit more disjointed just as we go through, but I thought it would be cool for us just to kind of talk our way through it and let our audience in on kind of what we're seeing and feeling at the same time.
And we'll also be taking some pictures along the way that we will be pushing to Instagram and Facebook. So if you have not already joined us there, now is your impetus to do so. You can also leave comments, suggestions, questions for future episodes, all of that good kind of stuff over on Instagram and Facebook at Hanging at the Hangar Bar Podcast.
Excellent. Thank you, Candace.
You're welcome, Scott.
Lariah, what are you looking forward to today?
I think I'm mainly looking forward to just seeing the layout of what Main Street was designed after. So just because Main Street is so iconic and beautiful, I'm just so excited to see that sort of downtown Main Street area.
I'd have to agree.
You,
yes, I'd have to agree with that. I'm very excited to see the layout of the town. Also, I'm a super nerd, and museums excite me. So I cannot wait for the museum.
Marceline, 6 miles away.
Yeah, here's our first sign for Marceline that we're seeing, 6 miles away. There's a lot of really cool things. I've done a little bit of research just looking at the Marceline webpage and that kind of thing. So as we all know, Walt was a huge fan of trains. So there's a couple throwbacks to that. At Disneyland, I'm going to get this wrong, so I should probably wait until after we've seen it. But there's a train that lives in Marceline, Missouri, that is also one of the trains that operates. It operated in Walt's backyard in his California home, and is also, I think, one of the names of the steam engines in Disneyland. So there's a little bit of trivia for you as well.
So, Scott, what are you looking most forward to on this adventure?
Like Lacey, I'm kind of a museum nerd. Just seeing what people donated, I know this museum is not Disney sponsored, it's not Disney owned, but I know a lot of the things there have been given by the Disney family, and I know Walt was super proud of Marceline and where he came from and all of those kind of things. So in addition to the museum, and I know, Candace, you and I have driven down Main Street before, but we've never just sort of stopped in Marceline. We've just kind of driven through. But I'm also looking forward to driving out and seeing where Walt spent his time, like where he grew up. We're going to drive by his house today. We're going to drive out to an old barn that was erected in, I think, the 80s or 90s, that is a blueprint of the workshop from Walt's backyard in California. And those are, I think, the things that I'm really looking forward to. And Walt's Dreaming Tree, while it fell in 2015, they planted a sapling from it out in that little farmland area. So the tree that Walt used to sit under and dream of all the things that would become what we know as the Disney company today, there's still part of that tree that's alive and well in Marceline. And you can find saplings of that tree in Disneyland as well, I think.
That's awesome.
So there's my little bit of trivia.
Well done. Well done.
I'm learning a lot so far. And we haven't even arrived yet.
Yeah, we haven't even turned off the highway yet. And Marceline's a couple miles off the road once we turn off the highway. About 9 minutes left. I feel so excited. When we got up this morning, I asked Candace, I said, does this feel like a Disney day? And I don't think it did it?
No, it didn't.
Why
Probably
not?
because we weren't scrambling at the last minute to make sure we had packed everything for a 3 a.m. departure to the airport to fly to Florida.
Right. But we did stop for our Dunkin' like we did on our road trip when we went down in 2019.
Yes, we did.
It's always good to start your day with a cup of coffee.
Even though only 2 of us started with coffee because Scott does not drink coffee. And Candace, I'm surprised you did not get coffee this morning.
I know, but these refresher drinks are just delicious.
I've never had one. So,
Super good.
Duncan, if you're listening, we'll take the sponsorship.
yes, we will. Your coffee is delicious. And Scott is a huge fan of your iced tea. And Candace, like she just said, huge fan of the refresher. So, so Candace,
Yes.
the refresher from Dunkin' versus the refresher from Starbucks. Do you have a favorite?
Well, it depends on how you make it.
Oh, okay.
I've been one of those, I'm going to make my own drink at Starbucks. So my new favorite thing is the strawberry acai refresher made with lemonade with 2 pumps of raspberry and some peach juice.
That sounds amazing.
Acai or acai?
Whatever. ACIA. Or no, ACAI.
I feel like you can pronounce it any way and anybody would understand what you are talking about because,
As long as you don't go acai.
yeah.
Ooh, our GPS has a British accent and just pronounced it Marceline.
Ooh. Well, she's wrong.
And we're about to turn, which means we're only a couple of minutes away.
There's the sign for the museum. Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, I should have taken a
Yep,
picture.
so our
Right
little
there.
blue sign attraction
Walt
is the
Disney
Walt.
Hometown Museum.
Yep, it's right there.
Yay! Hold, please.
Okay.
That sign just comes up quick.
It does. They don't, for it being what I think is pretty a big deal to Disney fandom, they don't mark it very well from a state perspective. Like, the first time we saw a Marceline sign was 6 miles away.
Yeah.
All right, and we are approaching.
And there's the big arrow sign with the American flag flying from it that says Marceline.
We're about 3 miles away.
This is very exciting. We're glad you all could join us for this.
Yeah, one of my favorite things from our 2019 Disney trip was seeing Laria's face light up when we got to Main Street USA and seeing the Castle Hub and all of that. I'm actually really excited to see both Lacey and Laria's reaction to Marceline and the little downtown area.
Now keep in mind, there will be no castle, unfortunately.
Uh-oh. Well, no one told me that. So,
Yeah.
all right.
That's it. Turn around.
Did you want to start walking home now, or?
But there will be a castle in the museum. There's a replica of, there's a replica of Disneyland.
Is it life size?
Yeah, life
No,
size.
it is not life size.
Okay.
Shoot.
But neither is the castle in Disneyland.
That's true.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a pretty house.
That is fancy.
That's not Walt's house.
No.
Oh. Does So Walt's house, is it still owned by the Walt family?
No.
Or okay.
Yeah, so we'll be able to drive by the house that Walt grew up in, but it is owned by a private family, so there's no tours of it or anything like that. You actually pass by it on the way out to the barn that we'll go to.
Oh, okay.
And I need to find the address for that. I texted it to Candace last night, but we'll do that probably after lunch.
Yes. And from our understanding, there are a couple of little restaurants on Main Street. One has a very Disney-centric menu. Like there's the Seven Dwarfs Burgers, and it's like different types of hamburgers that have different toppings, and they name them after the dwarfs, which I think is adorable. But then like all the menu options have something to do referencing a Disney character.
That's
That's
very
so-
cute.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
See, there's the sign for Main Street USA
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
right there.
Okay, Marceline welcomes you ladies.
Thank you.
Here we are.
Feel welcome.
So Marceline, Lacey actually told us this. Marceline has a population of just over 2,200 people. It's a tiny little town.
Bigger than I thought, though. That surprised me when she told us that.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was a little town of like 500 or 600.
And it's hopping at the Casey's today.
Wow.
It is. This is a busy little town.
And there is a burger base similar to a Sonic. I've
but-
never heard of that.
But not.
This is already too cute. I can't.
I can.
Well, you
Okay.
have to.
All right.
Ooh, for sale, the Marceline Hotel
Ooh.
In Disney font.
in
May I
Disney
add?
font. Oh, we could buy it.
We
I
could.
wonder if they have to get approval from Disney to use all the Disney font.
I don't know.
That is a great question.
Do we know where City Hall is? So maybe we
Well,
could do an interview.
We will find it on this little tour. Yeah, this is just a cute little town. And it's a little town that I think it feels very well cared for.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes with these little towns, you end up seeing a lot of like rundown homes and that kind of thing, just from the nature of small town America is really declining. But Marceline, just as we're driving through, feels like it has a pretty, like people take care of it. And I'm going to ignore my GPS because we're going to go down Main Street USA before we
Which
go
is
to
right
the
in front of
museum.
us.
Oh, wow.
So as we drive down this, now it's a little wider than what you see, but you'll start to get that feeling any moment now.
Train.
So yeah, as we drive through, just look at all the little storefronts and like notice some of the little details that are here. Like the little clock on this light post over here.
Oh, my gosh.
And how like the buildings are wrapped around the corner. How familiar does that look to like Casey's Corner?
Yes.
And here's the Marceline City Hall. It doesn't look like it's open today, Lariah.
Oh.
So this Uptown Theater is, and Goofy is in the ticket window at the Uptown Theater, and that's what is
And there's
based
the
on.
mural.
There's the mural. We'll stop and get pictures by that, maybe after we do the museum. But yeah, doesn't this just feel like Disney?
Yes.
Yeah.
A
This
little
is
more
insane.
rundown, maybe, but still.
There's a whole lot of Disney pictures that some kids drew in a window.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
So we can take some more time and explore. I'm actually not going to go over that bridge, but I'm just going to come up here and turn around.
Even the font on the storefronts
Mm-hmm.
look incredibly familiar.
Yeah, I think they've
And
really
look at the
leaned
street
into
signs with the mouse ears.
Oh, my gosh. We have to get some pictures of that.
Don't you ever wonder, like with towns like this, specifically this town, like you see people coming in with license plates that say people mover and decked out in Disney gear, and they're like, ugh, here they come. Or do you think it's like, okay, these people get it?
I would hope the second option, but you never know.
I mean, to be completely honest, some tourists can be, a little up in everybody's business, but as long as you're respectful about it, I hope.
I think, and
they are.
and I think that goes true to everything. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I can't speak. I'm so overwhelmed with joy and excitement for this.
Santa Fe and Disneyland Railroad. There's a little train here. I think I probably turned a little early. I don't think I can get where I want to go from here.
No, you can't.
Because we're going right over there.
And it looks busy today.
It does look busy.
What is that?
That's the museum.
Oh, that is.
And the museum used to be a train station
Oh, okay. That explains
where
a lot.
Walt would pick up the train to take him to Kansas City or on to California.
Mm-hmm.
I
Look at
like
that
the
bridge.
the little bridge with the pond.
And yeah, this park here, Walt's family made pretty big donations to. But like, if you think about history, somebody that we all kind of admire, like Walt Disney used to play in that park. That park, while it was fixed and updated a little bit based on some money from the Disney family, that's someplace Walt has stepped. And when he was young, he played in that park and that kind of thing. So it's
history.
It's history.
E.P. Ripley Park.
Yeah, that name Ripley is really one of the things that you see around Disneyland, and I can't remember. I watched a video on it, but I don't exactly remember what. So maybe we'll learn about it in the museum, and I can clarify that. If not, somebody listening can probably clarify it for us, I'm sure.
I don't know about you guys, but little towns like these just kind of don't feel real to me just because they're so insanely cute and
And little.
little.
Look at that little
and-
pond and the bridge and...
Looks very
Super
well
cute.
kept.
Yeah.
too.
Okay, so we're going to take a pause. This episode isn't over. It's not going to be a super short one, but we are pulling up to the museum now, so we're going to go in. We're going to explore the museum, and
I don't know that this is a parking spot.
I don't know why it wouldn't be.
Okay, fine.
And so we'll talk to you back in a little bit, but
There's
we're going to shut
pictures of
down for
Walt.
now, and we're going to go in, and we're going to explore the museum. Talk to you soon. So we just got done at the museum and having lunch, so we're continuing on our tour of Marceline, which we'll get into all the details about the museum here in a little bit. But we just added a little place called Ma Vic's right here in downtown Marceline on the corner of
Main Street USA and something else.
Main Street USA and something else. We're going to go down here and drive by the little Coke wall.
And Ma Vic's came as a recommendation from from Inez at the Walt Disney Hometown Museum, and who is a lovely little lady that actually met Walt Disney in 1956. He stayed in their home. She told us the whole story there. That was fascinating.
And so as we drive by the Coke wall, there's a little bit of a story that goes along with that, too, that we learned from Inez. No, we learned this at the museum, not from Inez. But the Coke wall is attached to what was a mortuary, and Roy was in charge of cleaning the old horse-drawn hearses. And Walt wanted in on that, so said he would help if Roy would give him some of the money. So Roy agreed. And I guess Walt's way of helping was to just hop on right up and play dead, which I think is kind of hilarious.
Seems pretty innovative to me.
Totally. So we're going back down Main Street, USA. So just as we get to our next stop, where we're headed next is we're going to drive by Walt's grade school. I don't know that we're going to get out and take pictures there, but there's some original artwork from Disney Imagineers. Do we want to take pictures by the Main Street USA sign?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so we'll stop and do that first. Okay, so that was a little detour. Sorry, again, this is going to be probably a little bit of a disjointed episode because we truly are road tripping as we go through and we're touring beautiful Marceline, Missouri. So now, after we stopped at a little mural that's all about Marceline, and we'll make sure a picture of that goes up on the Instagram page as we release this episode, there's a beautiful mural. We're going to go to the grade school, and what I was saying is there's an Imagineer that Walt sent to do the artwork. So as far as I know, it's one of the few schools that has artwork from Disney. Because for the most part, Disney will do cease and desist for characters used outside of their theme parks and outside of their uses. So I think that's pretty fascinating.
In little tiny Marceline, Missouri.
But yeah, Marceline is just a cute little town. What, ladies in the back seat, what do you think of Marceline?
It's very cute.
Adorable.
And the people seem so happy here.
They do, and Candace is already talking about wanting to move to Marceline. I don't know how real
I said we could.
we
Not
could.
that I wanted to, necessarily, but I could.
I bet.
Oh, no,
Wait
we
a
can't.
minute.
Never
yeah,
mind.
we're just driving by the first household we saw with a Confederate flag in the yard. So as long as they're not neighbors, I think we would be okay.
I like everyone. Such a cute town. Definitely. No.
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 Well, we are in the middle of Missouri. We kind of have to expect some of that in the middle of Missouri, but
Yes, but do we?
There's no excuse for that.
Amen.
amen. Okay.
Remember earlier how we said that we thought Marceline looked really well cared for?
So a block off of Main
That was
Street,
before.
Not so
Oh,
much.
okay.
We're deeper in.
Yeah, we're
That's
a
what
block
she
off of Candace Marie.
Ooh, I got middle named.
I'm trying to figure out where I want to turn to go to the grade school. I should have had the map out and been looking at it. Santa Fe, I think that's the street that we need to turn on to go to the grade school, which will be this way. And then after we stop by the grade school for a minute, we're going to head out to the farm and see Walt's house. Well, that where Walt grew up is encompassed in what the house that sits there now is. So I think what's sitting there was not necessarily Walt's house, but that corner is where he spent time in Marceline. And I learned something today that Walt was only in Marceline for, what did they say, 5 years? 10 years.
5 years when
5
he was
years.
a child.
Yeah. So from the age of 5 to 10.
And Inez also shared with us a fact. Oh, we'll get into that when we talk about the museum. Never mind.
Never mind. So yeah, our next episode that we'll have after this one will be on our road trip home. We will have a full episode about the museum itself and kind of our thoughts and takeaways from that. So that'll be a fun one to listen to. Is this the grade school?
This is the school.
Cute.
And they said we
Oh,
could
it's
get
the
out.
high school.
This is the high school.
Middle school's here. So maybe it's further down.
Maybe it looks like it's in this corner that they said we could get out and look in the windows to see the artwork. I don't know that I'm interested in doing that, but
Walt Disney Elementary. Oh, how cute. How cute is that school? I want to go there.
can I go back to elementary? I want to go to Walt Disney Elementary that has a greenhouse attached to it.
That's the agricultural department for Marceline. Read the sign.
Yeah, but it's right next to the grade school.
It is. I bet they have really healthy lunches. Where the magic of learning begins. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Do you need to take a picture of that sign?
Yes.
Hold, please.
So yeah, ladies, do you want to get out and go peek in the windows to see if you can see the artwork or not?
No. Do you want us to?
Not necessarily.
I think that's kind of creepy, actually.
Yeah, I don't want to get kicked out for looking at an elementary.
You're never allowed back in Marceline. But Inez said we could get out and see the artwork. But yeah, so in this grade school, there is artwork done by a Disney artist. Like
Imagineer.
I mentioned, Imagineer. Are the Imagineers also the people that did the drawing and that kind of thing, or is that just the engineering department?
Well, there's the animators that did the animation.
Yeah, so a Disney animator came and did the murals for this elementary school.
And there was a park here, and it may have been the playground for the elementary school, but the slides all had like covered wagon coverings on them, and that sort of thing.
That is amazing.
I think so. So we're headed out to the home place now?
Yeah, we're going to go see the home, and then there is the farm with the barn and the new dreaming tree. So that's where we'll head out to now. And again, this is just a super cute little town. If you ever get if you ever get the chance to come to Marceline, I think we're all of the opinion that we would come back again.
Yes. I would.
I would.
On a less windy day, preferably.
Yeah.
It is very windy today.
Yeah, and when we came down, there's wind warnings all across Nebraska and Missouri. So we're talking 35, 40 mile an hour winds with 50 mile an hour gusts, which makes recording that much more difficult for road noise too. So again, my apologies for any road noise that you hear. We will be back to recording in a fixed studio soon. Okay, so now we go down Kansas Avenue. Why did the Electric Avenue song just pop into my head as I said that?
Because you're old.
Because I'm old. Thank you.
Welcome.
As much as I say I would hate living in a small town, like just driving around this little town, it feels different than driving around in a city with even 25 or 50,000 people.
It does feel different. I'm not going to say if that's a good thing or bad thing for me, but it does feel different.
Yeah, I would want to like come spend more time here to know if it's like Lake Candace, a destination where we would be like, hey, let's move to Marceline because we can do our jobs remote. I would want them like come spend more time here before I knew that for sure.
And we would have to get to the point where we were okay with everybody in town knowing every bit of our business.
Right.
Because in a town this size, I don't think you can avoid it.
Right.
Although I do like that Target is only 5 minutes away from
There's
anywhere.
a Target here, or are you talking about home?
I'm talking about home.
Okay.
Living in a city compared
With a
to
Target.
with a few Targets.
There is a matter of convenience, and I haven't seen a Costco all day, so that would be a problem.
But they have an Amazon here. Well, it's not an Amazon, but I'm sure Amazon delivers here.
And a good sense. There is a good sense.
Yes. And did we mention it on the way in that there was a hotel or motel available for sale?
We did. Yes, we did. See, we could move here, and that would be our job.
It'd
Bates
be like,
Like
Motel.
Schitt's Creek.
Yes.
or Bates Motel.
Ew, David.
Okay, so this little house here on the right, or on the left, sorry, the right-hand corner as we turn left, is Walt Disney's hometown, is his house.
The red one?
Yep,
Yes.
the red one right here on the corner is right where, and so I'm sure this little sign says that.
The Disney Family Farmhouse.
So I'm not sure how much of that is original versus how much of it is rebuilt or whatever, but that is where Walt spent 5 years of his life, is right on this corner. Not too far from Highway 36.
It's
Yeah,
a cute
super
house.
cute. Like, I wonder if the people that own it now, when they get ready to sell it, if the Disney Museum will buy it.
They
And
should.
kinda turn it back into like Walt style and have tours available and that kind of thing. Oh,
Disney Family Farm.
I just missed it. I got to back up a little bit.
Yep.
What is this?
This is the Disney
This
Family
is-
Farm.
Yeah,
so this is the
Disney
farmland.
family farm. So we're going to get out here and we will go. Is that handy capable?
No.
Park right here. So Walt's Dreaming Tree site and Disney Family Barn site. So again, this is something free that you do right here in Marceline. So we're just going to hop out. It's like a 1 or 2 minute walk down to the barn site, and then we'll wrap up this episode after we do the barn, and then we'll do a full like talk about all the things that we saw. So see you in a few. Well, that was our last kind of break in the action of this, what I think will probably end up being a very disjointed episode, which is fine. Hopefully you stuck with us through it. It's fun to just kind of narrate it as we go through. We just got done at the Walt Disney farmhouse and barn and that kind of thing, and what we learned is there are garter snakes that blend into the grass. Loriah almost stepped on one, and now Lacey will refuse to move to Marceline.
That is correct.
And so we're heading back out to the highway to get ourselves headed back home, get some gas and that kind of thing. So overall, I would say trip to Marceline worth it.
Yes.
Yes.
Something I would do again, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's lots of wasps in the barn right now, so I might want to come down at a time when there aren't wasps in the barn. But I also don't know how I feel about all the signatures on the inside. I get it. It kind of trashed up the joint, in my opinion. But
I completely agree. I'm not a huge fan of that.
They could have had like a guest book or something rather
Right.
than actually writing on the barn.
Yeah.
And, like, there were people that had signed up in the rafters. So, like, people had to climb, and there's no ladder to get up there. Like, they would have had to be lifted up there to do it. It's the
Interesting.
creativity
It's a
of some
safety
people.
issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Okay, so we're going to end this episode here. No idea how long it's really going to be. I think it might be a little bit of a shorter one once the edit is done, just because a lot of it was narration. But again, Marceline, Central Missouri, right off of Highway 36. Come visit it. It's a cute little town. The museum is awesome. We'll tell you more about that in our next episode that we're going to record on the way home in our road trip series. And just remember, there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
And we'll see you real soon.